Today, I want to talk about anticipation and the benefits of thinking 5 moves ahead. How to stop getting blindsided by people, by pressure, and predictable consequences. And finally, how to stop living one move at a time so you stop surprising yourself with outcomes that were always forming. Most pain is not sudden, it's scheduled. It doesn't explode out of nowhere. It grows quietly while you're distracted. The relationship didn't fall apart in one day. The money didn't disappear in one moment. The health didn't collapse overnight. The business didn't fail because of one mistake. It failed because of a pattern you didn't see coming, even though the signs were there. That's the difference between people who win and people who wonder what happened. Winners don't just respond to life. They anticipate it. They don't wait for the storm to arrive. They read the sky. They don't wait for consequences. They read the trajectory. They don't wait for betrayal. They read behavior. And today, I'm going to teach you a skill that makes life feel less like chaos and more like chess. How to think 5 moves ahead. Not with paranoia, with precision. Because anticipation isn't fear, it's advantage. But here's the core problem. You keep calling it bad luck, but let's be honest. A lot of what people call bad luck is just unseen momentum. Momentum in a relationship, momentum in finances, momentum in habits, momentum in character. You don't get blindsided by a cliff. You get blindsided by walking toward it daily and never looking up. Most people live like this. They make a move. They deal with the immediate result. Then they make another move. Then they deal with the next immediate result. That's checkers. Strategic people don't live move to move. They live sequence to sequence. They ask, if I do this, what does it lead to? Then they ask again, and again, and again. That's anticipation. Picture this. A man is driving to work. Same route, same time. His car starts making a sound, a faint tick, a soft grind. He turns the music up. Weeks pass. The sound gets louder. He ignores it. Then one morning, on the highway, smoke. The car dies, and he says the sentence people always say when they didn't anticipate. Man, this came out of nowhere. No, it didn't. It came out of silence. It came out of avoidance. It came out of never asking the one strategic question. If I keep going like this, what happens next? Anticipation is hearing the tick and pulling over before the smoke. Now let me define what anticipation really is. Anticipation is not overthinking. Anticipation is not anxiety. Anticipation is cause and effect awareness. It is the ability to see early signals, predict likely outcomes, prepare for multiple futures, and position yourself before the moment arrives. Anticipation is the art of living like a strategist. You read the lesson forming in advance. Most people ask the wrong question. They ask, what should I do right now? Strategists ask, where does this lead? Because the present moment is a doorway. Every decision has a destination. Your job is to stop falling through doors blindly. Here's the framework for this episode. Let's call it the 5-move method. When you're about to decide something, don't just evaluate the move. Evaluate the chain. Ask, if I do this, what happens next? Then what happens? Then what happens? What does this train in me? Where does this end if it becomes my lifestyle? That's 5 moves. And it's not complicated, it's just rare. Because most people never follow the chain past move 1. Here is what you don't want to do. Send the text that felt good. Then it cost a year of frustration. Example, a person gets angry. They send the text. They feel powerful for 10 seconds. But what they really did was start a sequence. Now the relationship shifts. Now trust erodes. Now communication becomes defensive. Now intimacy becomes distant. Now it's not a moment, it's a season. One emotional message can become a new reality. Anticipation would have asked, where does this lead? Not, how do I feel? Because feelings are weather. Strategy is navigation. So you may ask why we don't anticipate. The reason is because the nervous system loves now. Your brain is designed to prioritize the immediate. That's survival wiring. But survival wiring makes you short-sighted, and modern life punishes short-sightedness. Because consequences in modern life aren't immediate. They're delayed. Debt is delayed pain. Bad health is delayed pain. Relationship decay is delayed pain. Reputation damage is delayed pain. So you can feel fine today and be doomed tomorrow if you never anticipate. Anticipation requires three lenses. Not what is happening, but what direction is this moving? 2. Patterns. Not what did they say, but what do they consistently do? 3. Probability. Not what's possible, but what's likely. Strategists don't predict perfectly. They position intelligently. Now, let's look at 3 tools to better understand the process. Tool number 1, trajectory thinking. Most people judge their life by the current snapshot. Strategists judge by the slope. A person may be broke but improving, good trajectory. A person may be rich but declining, bad trajectory. Ask, is this getting better or worse? That question alone reveals the future. If it's getting worse and you keep doing the same thing, the future is not mysterious, it's math. Tool number 2, pattern recognition. Patterns are the future in preview. If every Sunday night you panic, that's a pattern. If every time you're stressed you spend, that's a pattern. If every time you feel unseen, you withdraw, that's a pattern. If every time you get close to progress you sabotage it, that's a pattern. Patterns are the board speaking. Anticipation is listening. Tool number 3, scenario planning. Here's how elite thinkers plan. They don't build one plan. They build positions. They use 4 scenarios. 1, likely. What's most probable? 2, best. If things go well, how do I scale? 3, worst. If things go wrong, how do I protect? 4, wild. If something unexpected happens, how do I stay agile? This removes fear, because fear comes from helplessness. Scenario planning creates options, and options create calm. Now let's look at a real-life example. Let's call it the sudden layoff that wasn't sudden. A man gets laid off. He's shocked, but the signals were there. The company was cutting costs. Leaders stopped communicating. Projects were frozen. Hiring stopped. Morale dropped. A strategist would have been quietly preparing, updating skills, saving cash, building connections, exploring options. Same event, different outcome. Because one person anticipated, the other waited. So here's what I call the anticipation rule. Predictable problems deserve pre-planning. If a problem is predictable, it's already solvable. Examples: holiday spending, burnout seasons, motivation dips, conflict triggers, procrastination hours, money leaks, relationship tension cycles. Strategists don't get shocked by what repeats. They build systems for what repeats. And your personal early warning system is one of the most powerful tools you'll ever build. To use it, make a list called My Tripwires. Tripwires are early signs you're drifting. Examples: sleeping later than usual, skipping workouts, isolating, impulse spending, scrolling at night, avoiding one conversation. I'll start Monday thinking. Then attach a response plan. If I scroll past 10 p.m., phone in another room, plus read 2 pages, plus sleep. If I feel like sending a heated text, 3-second pause, draft in notes, plus wait 24 hours. If I feel financial pressure, no spending for 48 hours, plus review accounts. This is anticipation in action. You're not guessing. You're building guardrails. Now let's take a look at how to think 5 moves ahead in relationships without being cold. Anticipation in relationships is not manipulation. It's wisdom. Ask, if I say this, what will it trigger in them? If I avoid this, what will grow? If we don't address this now, what will it become? What pattern are we rehearsing? The future of a relationship is built in today's patterns. Anticipation protects love. Now 5 moves ahead in money. Stop buying the moment. Money mistakes are rarely financial. They're emotional. So the anticipation question is, what feeling am I trying to solve with this purchase? If I do this today, what does it create next month? That breaks the spell. Here's my favorite. Thinking 5 moves ahead in habits. Habits are not actions. Habits are votes. Each habit is a vote for an identity. So the 5-move chain becomes, if I do this today, I become the type of person who does this. If I become that type of person, my life trends in that direction. If my life trends in that direction, my future becomes predictable. This is why small habits are so powerful. They don't just change behavior, they change trajectory. Now you're at the strategic sweet spot, and you're becoming prepared, not paranoid. Let me be clear. Anticipation isn't living in fear of what could go wrong. Anticipation is living with awareness of what is already moving. You don't need to predict everything. You just need to be less surprised by what's obvious. Life will always have uncertainty, but uncertainty doesn't have to equal chaos. Because you don't need to control the whole future. You just need to position yourself better than you did yesterday. And when you think 5 moves ahead, you stop living surprised. You start living prepared.